I still see every other day comments and stuff on whether it's in YouTuber or other places, or if it's companies. It's mostly from companies talking, but they're always talking about how piracy ruins the game industry or ruins the movie industry or something else. But all I ever see from all these companies, I don't know why this is excusable, um, is constantly all I ever see from them is them making excuses. They're not working proactively on the issue. Like, why is it that people pirate games? Like, why is it that people pirate movies? Why is it this the main way that people handle stuff? And back in the 90s, when Napster was a thing, constantly the music industry just wanted to shut down Napster and wanted you to go get your ass out there and go to a store and buy your music. People just didn't want to get up and go buy music. See, Apple figured this out later on, and they proactively started iTunes, and then they also released an iPod and had people actually embrace MP3 as opposed to what the music industry was doing, which was like denying MP3s and then forcing people to do stuff they didn't want to. And this is the number one thing that pisses me off about businesses. Businesses need to realize that when people start doing something, you cannot force them in any ways to change their habits once they start them. If they like doing it in a certain way, you can tell them it's illegal. You can do a bunch of shit like that. People aren't going to change. And this gets to my other point. So slowly and surely, some nowadays they're trying to be more proactive with this, and they're trying really hard to implement digital distribution and a lot of factors. But what they're actually doing in a whole lot of places is they're just giving you a license. And this is one thing I don't like about businesses as well. When it comes to buying your video games on PlayStation or Xbox or even Nintendo right now, it doesn't matter which platform you choose. For the most part, you're not getting to keep all the games that you buy. And this is one of the big issues. You're just getting a license, and it really sucks. The systems that are more like Steam, though, are doing a slightly better job. They are still giving you a license, but they're giving you a license where you can actually sell that license to someone else. And it seems to be a license that goes on for perpetuity, or as long as that company is still alive. And that's really nice, and that's probably one of the best things they can do. And that's the only digital distribution I'm okay with at the moment. But it does give you something that you can have, something that you can collect, and something you can give out. But the companies aren't realizing one thing. There's people that collect a lot of stuff, and this is where I think one of the issue lies, especially with movies. People don't want, for the most part, and don't necessarily need to at the moment, buy movies because a lot of people will pirate your movie. And it's easier to pirate a movie than it is to pirate a video game. Yet no, I don't see the movie industry proactively attacking this in a good way. All they do is whine that people are pirating their movies, but not thinking of why people are pirating their movies. Yes, they're easier to get, but here's the other thing: there's other ways that you can combat this, and one of the best ways I think that they can actually go by this and then make it better for everybody is release DVDs in a way, or not DVDs, but release a movie format that's collectible, something that's like a good case and something that you can constantly keep a license with it. So when a new, better version of that movie comes out, since you have this collection, you can either download it or you can get it and install it into this whatever this is. So basically, release something like an SD card, like or a cartridge like a Nintendo Switch, and then make it something that's collectible and sell it to people with the intention that they feel like they own that movie for forever. And then that one thing is so collectible that I think anyone would go out and try to buy it. And just like VHSs in the past, people bought VHS with the idea that they didn't need to buy it again. They didn't really consider that DVD was going to come by. They didn't consider screen resolution. None of that stuff mattered back then. No one really actually thought about it as much as they do nowadays. Especially if you were a kid during that time, you really didn't care, but you still wanted the thing, right? But with this event, like if you do something, you give somebody something that they want, and then it becomes actually useful. They will go out there and they will buy it, and they will, even if this is supposed to last for a lifetime. Unfortunately, people don't keep things for life. A lot of times they'll lose it. It'll need replacing for other reasons. Is you don't know, so they'll probably go out and buy it again when you re-release it. For whatever reason, you can re-release it without the download, for instance. So now people will have another incentive to go out and buy them. But the thing is, like, you can also release this within a sort of limited supplies, like Disney would do with their Disney Vault. And I know this kind of sucks, but at the same time, make people go out there and try to buy these things instead of just streaming them online. Like there's a multitude of things you can do for people that like to collect things. I think this is one business that businesses need to consider because people will like to collect things no matter what. And it's harder to collect things if you have them stored as a digital license that only you have because you can't really give that to someone else. And that's another thing. Steam has done it in a way that, yeah, you can give it to someone else. That's kind of nice. But when you really get digital downloads, just basically you copying a file and creating a new copy of it. It doesn't deplete supply, it increases supply. And that when you increase supply, you also decrease the value of that item. So you need to for the movie industry especially, it needs to figure out a way where it can increase the value of their products, especially over time. And this is also true for any other media, whether it's video games or music. I believe they really should consider doing something like what I've said previously, release something that someone can buy and collect and gives them a license that would seemingly last for perpetuity. You should not try to revoke it in whatever ways. Just over time, it's not either practical or something that you just want to get something new anyways that's out there because it's collectible. Like say you release another version of the movie, even though you can download the movie with like new high quality version, you own the original classic. Like it's so valuable that you can't really in the future you don't want to touch it, so you go out and buy a new version of it that comes with the new version of the movie or whatever. That you can play, with 4K or whatever, or 8K at time, whatever it is, who knows. But the thing is, like, it's obvious that there's ways of mitigating the situation that's out there. But instead, what I always constantly hear is people complaining about pirates. Pirates this, pirates are doing this, we're losing money because of pirates. And no one's seeing that even though you can argue and whine about this, how are you going to stop it? Seriously, you can pass laws, you can do a bunch of shit like that. You're still not going to get the money because probably you're just going to limit what was there. People that pirate, for the most part, only pirate because they don't have any other access to whatever media there is. Like, say it's a game, for instance. One of the reasons kids, especially, used to pirate games, and this is true if you talk to a lot of people, even on the internet, they'll say this constantly. The reason they pirated games was because they had no money. And although that's not necessarily a good excuse, you can understand that from the fact that once they did have money, they started buying their games because it's a hassle to try to pirate games. It's such a hassle and it puts you in such a risk most of the time, especially if it's a PC game. Like you're installing shit on your computer that you have no idea what's gonna do. If it's a game console, you have to crack that console, and it basically ruins your console. Most of the time, most people don't want to even go that route, especially when you have money. So that's pretty much what you have to consider in the end. Like once there is an incentive to go out there and buy the game or buy it as a digital download or whatever, people will do it. But at the same time, it's not always the case. For movies, I feel it's slightly different. People pirate movies, I think, because it's simpler than buying say some Blu-ray and opening your Blu-ray player and starting it, or even going on iTunes. Sometimes it's kind of complicated to just buy something unless you have some iTunes um, set top box or something, or even just Amazon Prime or something. If you don't have something to play it on your TV easily, which a lot of people don't, because it's there's so many formats. It's not nothing works with everything. You have iTunes, you have Fire TV with Amazon, you have Roku, you have a bunch of shit. And since you have a bunch of stuff, you don't really have any platform that's decentralized, and that's the other part of it. No one's really trying to create some standard that you can actually buy movies from easily and just watch them. There's tons of shit out there, and it's all such a mixed bag. You don't know which one's better. You don't know anything about it. It's never advertised. You just learn from it eventually, and then you may start downloading. But you know what? Most people end up saying, "Forget it. I'm just gonna stream it off some streaming legal streaming service somewhere or whatever, or download it off some torrents like an idiot." But the thing is, like companies, yeah, you have your cable companies now peering through you and trying to get you to stop those things, and then they'll sue you and stuff. But the thing is, like, there's a means that there's something that people are telling these companies, and these companies for some reason don't want to listen. They just want to make their lives easier and just complain about it. But literally, if these companies start listening and see, like, wait a second, people are pirating our movies for some reason. What's the reason? Because people will happily buy your stuff if it is convenient or it gives them what they want. It's easier to do most of the time because by the time that you pirate something, it already costs you a lot of work. Like you don't want to do that work. Most people don't. Most people would rather just give you money and not have to do any work. It's a better exchange for the most part. And companies need to know this. I'm not saying that companies shouldn't stop their fight for pirating because, like, yeah, pirating's wrong, and if they just let it be, maybe people will just find it easier to do in the end, and there's no money to be made. I get that, but what I'm trying to point out in this video is that when stuff like this happens, like when you're running a company, you don't like what's going on, and there's a reason why it's happening. There's something that probably that company is not taking. There's an opportunity there that they're not capitalizing on. And for the most part, when it comes to pirating, especially when it's like downloading pirating and stuff, I feel like most companies aren't taking the proactive step of understanding what the consumer is interested in. For movies nowadays, I feel like it's convenience. Like movies downloads and stuff is inconvenient. Like especially when you purchase them. For many of the places that you get to purchase them, whether it's even on PlayStation Store or Xbox, it's just really complicated, and you can only play it on that one platform. It's so inconvenient for the most part that it's kind of creating this system of ultra piracy that you may not want to. You're losing money that way, is what I'm trying to say. The movie industry will lose money that way. When it comes to games, it's a different issue altogether. There needs to be like little bits of changes in there. It needs to be not everyone's the same, so you can't win it all. Like you cannot. There's always going to be piracy in some way or form. That's something that companies just need to accept. Maybe in the future there will be like such great AI that it will just stop everybody from doing it out of just fear. But even then, I mean, that sounds kind of scary. But anyways, even then, we're not there yet. It's best to just assume it's always going to be there. And the best thing that the company can do is ignore it for the most part, but not so much ignore like where they're just letting it happen. But they need to act proactively to give people what they want because the message that's being given to people is that there's something there that the consumer wants. There's something that they're willing to put themselves at risk to pirate this software or whatever or movie or whatever this media that they want to see or want to interact with. There's a reason why they're going through the trouble of pirating it when it's easier maybe sometimes to just buy it. And the reason may be because it's not so easy to buy it or some other thing, or maybe they can't, or whatever. Listen to the consumer, figure out what they want, give them what they want, and then you'll make money. If you don't, if you make it harder for them, if you fight them, you're gonna lose them. And the best thing to do if you want the most money, just give them the chance to get it. Don't be like Nintendo that tries to keep people from buying their stuff. Like there's always gonna be like there'll be money as long as you want it. As long as you act proactively to it and don't attack your consumers, it's the best option there. Anyways, I'm signing out. I hope I didn't confuse people with this message, but that I just wanted to make this video because I keep seeing these things and I just want to put my opinion out there. Anyways, guys, I'm signing out. Have a good day. I hope the day treats you well. Goodbye.